We all love free stuff. Free transit is no exception. But is free transit actually a good thing? And if the transit that's free isn't also efficient, reliable, clean, and safe, does it even matter? For one particular city trying out this policy the last 4 years, what does it look like in practice? Let's explore. So what's good about free transit? Free transit eliminates the need for collection boxes or any collection enforcement. No need to worry about fare cards or transfers or correct change or phone app connectivity. Just get on and ride. The cost of transit has the biggest impact on lower income residents who need to find places to save wherever they can. Making that transit free is a great benefit for anyone on a budget, especially if they don't own cars and are depending on transit to reach jobs, school, grocery stores, and public amenities. We also can't underestimate the impact that public transportation has on air quality, traffic, and helping cities move toward multimodal transportation. Free is the kind of price that can incentivize some residents to take a ride on a bus or train instead of driving their own car or catching a cab or Uber. Okay, now what's bad about free transit? Well, for one, it's an economic benefit for some individuals who don't need it. I'm all for a free ride, but we know nothing is truly free, and funding for these kinds of programs has to come from somewhere. If at least a portion of that funding comes from ticket revenue, from those residents who can afford it, and tourists, then the public subsidy gets reduced and the general public might be more supportive of future transit projects. Here's a negative that might be more controversial. Riders using transit for shelter rather than actual transportation. When transit is free, there is literally no barrier to getting on and riding, even if you have nowhere to go. That means someone without a home on a hot summer day is going to jump on as many free air-conditioned trains and buses as possible to escape the heat. It's exactly what I'd do. It's just not a good solution to the problem, and it leads some potential riders to be less likely to choose transit themselves. The last negative of free transit, as I see it, is that making something, anything, free can take focus away from making that something the highest quality possible. It's human nature. If I'm running a bakery and I'm giving away cookies, I'm not as concerned if I let my kids help and some don't have as many chocolate chips or some get a little overcooked. Hey, I'm giving away free cookies. Everyone should be happy. Apply that mentality to public transportation and you get something mediocre at best. Wouldn't it be better to create people-moving options that locals and visitors are happy to pay for because it gets them quickly and easily where they want to go? If you need to subsidize the cost for some residents, that's fine, but the quality of the transit should be the primary focus. I know what you're thinking here. This has all been an interesting thought experiment, but what about that test city you mentioned, that guinea pig of urban policy? How do these positive and negative impacts look in real life? Well, the city in question is none other than Kansas City. Since 2020, transit has been free in Kansas City, and the free transit policy was recently extended to 2025. So how is free transit working in Kansas City? I can't claim to be fully qualified to answer, but what I can do is offer my unbiased perspective as someone traveling through and making some observations. When Kansas City was considering the idea of free transit, city leaders surely had in mind the idea that making it free for everyone could benefit some who didn't need it. However, a survey of more than 3,000 riders found that 90% of them had household incomes of less than $50,000 per year, and roughly half had household incomes of less than $30,000. So free transit has largely benefited those who actually need the financial help. Overall system ridership is back near pre-pandemic levels, which is pretty impressive given the increase in remote and hybrid work. Rider satisfaction is higher, and security incidents have dropped, primarily due to no conflicts related to fare collection. Other statistics haven't shown much meaningful difference. According to TomTom, Kansas City ranked 56 out of 80 metro areas, with an average travel time of 10 minutes per 6 miles. In terms of air quality, studies by the American Lung Association indicated stable ozone days and a modest increase in particle days. The lack of progress with these factors isn't too surprising when you consider the ratio of drivers to riders in the city. Based on a 2019 survey, 94% of commuters were driving and 1.5% were using transit, so even a doubling of transit riders, an ambitious goal, wouldn't significantly reduce vehicles on the road. Let that stat soak in for a moment. 94% versus 1.5%. That speaks to how spread out Kansas City is, but also to the sad state of the transit system overall. It wasn't always like this. The city once boasted one of the largest streetcar and cable car systems in the U.S. Those streetcars eventually gave way to buses, and that bus system lives on today. I'd describe it as inefficient and insufficient. Many buses come only once every hour or half hour, which really doesn't work for a reasonable commute. Kansas City has a limited density, so the routes are spread out and the riders are spread out. Not a good combo. According to a recent study by All Transit, only 12.8% of riders live near high-frequency full-day transit, and only 3% of city residents use transit. This 3% figure includes riders not commuting to work, and it may even be inflated by those enjoying free rides without much of a destination. Now, I ride public transportation in my hometown of Chicago and in many cities I visit, and there's often some percentage of riders who appear to be homeless or unhoused. Kansas City was no different, with some riders who looked like they were just getting off one bus and getting on another to avoid the heat of the day. This was especially apparent in the transit center downtown. But it wasn't an unsafe environment in any way, certainly not enough to dissuade potential riders. What is dissuading potential riders is that the transit center consists of only buses, many arriving sporadically. Free transit just isn't going to solve the issue of bad transit options. Thankfully, not all the options in Kansas City are buses. The shining jewel in the city's tarnished transit crown is this sleek, modern streetcar, looking and feeling exactly like something that would fit in Europe or Asia. It echoes back to a certain extent to the city's streetcar systems from the early 1900s. Though it's currently only 2 miles long, being free helps encourage usage and drive pedestrian traffic along a key urban corridor. Ridership has been strong, and feedback very positive. Is this the hope for Kansas City's transit future, free or not? I think the answer is yes. The streetcar is currently being extended south from Union Station to 51st Street and UMKC's main campus, making the entire run 5 miles. Ironically, the new terminus will also be near Country Club Plaza, one of the first car-focused shopping areas in the U.S., but that's another story for another day. Back to the streetcar system, an intersecting east-west line is also on the table. It's still early in the process, but a second line could help the city make a significant step forward in building a real network, allowing more people to get to more places quickly and efficiently. Keep that momentum going, and Kansas City might one day have a transit system worth the price of admission, even if that price isn't free. Of course, I'm just one man with one opinion. What do you think? Has Kansas City found the vision of the future with free transit for all and the revival of streetcars? Or is this a weak and temporary band-aid on a system that needs a heart transplant? Let me know in the comments, and feel free to subscribe for notifications of future videos like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.